And there's the national anthem for the ballpark at KC Commons as we welcome you to our broadcast of Kilgore College softball exclusively on the internet on the Kilgore College Sports Network. Manny Almanza, happy to be with you in Kilgore today for this Sunday afternoon broadcast. The game scheduled for yesterday was called to rain as we had thunderstorms move through the area in the morning and then return in the afternoon. So there was a rain out yesterday, thus the rescheduling for softball today in Kilgore. So happy to have you with us for the broadcast on our Kilgore College YouTube channel. We'll go ahead and give you the starting lineups for the visitors from Northeast Texas Community College out of Mount Pleasant. Leading off, it will be Plessy Lynn Barasa, the sophomore, as the designated player. Hitting number 2 in the lineup for Northeast Texas is Maya Pardue. Pardue in left field. In the number 3 slot, Lillian Barasa. Barasa is behind the plate. In the number 4 hole, it will be Alyssa Maynor. Maynor is playing in right field. The number 5 hitter is the third baseman, and that is Kirsten Fincannon. In the number 6 slot, it's going to be for Northeast Texas, the shortstop, and that is Conley Zachary. Hitting number 7 for Northeast Texas will be their starting pitcher, and that will be Seabury. That is Shelby Seabury. The number 8 hitter for Northeast Texas is going to be the first baseman, and that is Sawyer Strange. And in the number 9 hole for Northeast Texas, Sarah Cruz Camacho, she'll be in center field. The second baseman for Northeast Texas is going to be Cedes Martinez. She is the flex player as well. And the first pitch of the ball game to Barasa is fouled, third base side, and the count is now 0-1 to Plessy Lynn Barasa. In the circle, starting it off for Kilgore College, it will be Casey Bingham. Bingham comes into the contest with a record of 1 win and 5 losses. Bingham, right-handed pitcher out of Clyde, Texas, a freshman for the Rangers. Here's the next pitch to the left-handed hit, Barasa, on the way from Bingham, and that's going to miss low and outside, and the count will even up at a ball and a strike. So we are in our first inning from Kilgore, opening up with a Region 14 doubleheader as the Rangers take on the Eagles from Northeast Texas Community College. So the count is 1-1. Here's the next opportunity down the way. That misses high and goes to the backstop. 2-1 as Bingham uncorked that one well over the head of her catcher. We're going to give you the Kilgore College lineups in just a second on the defensive side of things as the count is 2-1 now. To Plessy Lynn Barasa. Here's the pitch. Barasa will stroke it, and that'll be foul, third base side, so the count evens up at 2-2. As I said, in the circle for Kilgore College, it is Casey Bingham with a 1-5 record. Behind the plate for KC will be Stephanie Salas. At first base for the Rangers, it's Katrina Morphus. In the second base slot for Kilgore College, it is Jordan Andrade. Here's the next pitch by the right-hander Bingham with a 2-2 count to Barasa. And that was going to come across the plate, strike 3. And Barasa goes down looking. So there's the first out of the ball game, and it's a strikeout for Casey Bingham, and that is 1 down. Let's continue with the Kilgore College defense. I think we stop with Jordan Andrade at second. At short for Kilgore College, it will be Alyssa Baxter, and third base for the Rangers, Dakara Anderson. Here is the next batter, Pardue for Northeast Texas. First pitch to her, and that's going to be a strike call coming across the plate. So 0-1, the count to Pardue. Maya Pardue, a freshman for Northeast Texas. She is playing out in left field today. And that next pitch comes across for the stride. And right now, Bingham is getting everything. And the count is now at 0-2. 0-2 the count with 1 down for Northeast Texas. We are here in the top of the first inning from the ballpark at KC Commons. Here's the delivery by Bingham. And that will miss outside and low. So the count goes to 1-2. All right, Andrade at second base for Kilgore. Baxter is a shortstop. Dakara Anderson at third. And the outfield, left to right for Kilgore College, will have Mary Newville in left. In the center, it will be Jolisa Ramirez. And there's a shot that'll go between third and short and into left field for the base hit. So Pardue gets the first hit of the ball game. There's a single for Pardue. And so she is on. It's the first base runner of the ball game for Northeast Texas. So Newville in left for Kilgore. In center, Ramirez. And in right for the Rangers, it is Lexi Barr. Up to bat now will be Lillian Barasa for Northeast Texas. Here's Bingham's delivery, and that one will catch the inside part of the plate. Strike one. Here's the next pitch on the way now by Bingham. Fouled out of play by Barasa. This is Lillian Barasa. She'll be behind the plate for Northeast Texas. The count goes to 0-2. If you're listening and unable to watch at this time, Kilgore is wearing the home pinstripe uniforms today. White uniforms with blue pinstripes. Rangers and block letters in blue on the front with blue numerals. And the blue stockings for the Rangers. Next delivery, and Lillian Barasa fouls this toward her own dugout on the first base side. The count holds at 0-2. For the visitors from Northeast Texas, they'll have the blue uniforms today, blue jerseys and blue pants, red numerals on the jerseys. And on the front of the jersey, Northeast is spelled out in block letters. So the count is at 0-2 to Lillian Barasa. Bingham takes a look at the wristband. Here's the wind and the delivery, and that's going to be a bouncer through the legs of Bingham and up into center field for the base hit. So that's kind of, they hit him where they ain't there. As Barasa reaches on the second single of the ball game, straight up the middle. Runners at first and second with one down for the Eagles, and coming up to bat now, it will be Alyssa Maynor, wearing number 77 on the back of her jersey. She's a right-handed hitter for Northeast Texas. So runners at first and second for Northeast Texas. Here's Bingham rocking and firing, and this is a first pitch swing, a pop-up in foul territory. Unable to get to it, however, for Kilgore College. The first baseman, Katrina Morphus, just ran out of room right in front of the Northeast dugout. So 0-1 is the count now. So Bingham comes into the ball game, according to our Region 14 statistics, with a record of 1 win and 5 losses, has 7.52 ERA. Pitch is fouled off by Maynor, so the count will go to 0-2 against her. This is her 16th appearance on the season, second start according to the stats. She's pitched 44 2/3 innings, given up 89 hits, now 91 after the 2 singles here. 64 runs, 48 earned, walked 18, struck out 19, and has allowed 5 home runs this season. Hit 5 batters, had a couple of wild pitches, and that one is going to get by the catcher for Kilgore College, and the runners will move up. So Pardue goes to third. Lillian Barasa at second. Maynor with a count of 1-2 as the pitch went off the glove of the Kilgore catcher, Stephanie Salas. 1-2 the count with 1 down. Both runners in scoring position now for Northeast Texas as the wind kicks up. And that pitch is going to miss low and inside, and that'll put the count at 1-2, make it 2-2 now. 2-2 the count to Maynor. Maynor hitting .283 coming into the contest today. That pitch is fouled off the backstop, so the count will hold at 2 balls and 2 strikes. No score on the top of the first inning from Kilgore. Northeast Texas against the Rangers. It's sophomore day here at Kilgore College. Here's the delivery. And that's going to be a shot that'll go into center field, and it will fall in front of Ramirez for a base hit. Coming home to score from third for Northeast Texas is Pardue, and the Eagles go on top early by a count of 1-0. So 1-0 lead for the Eagles in the top of the first inning, 1 down. So Maynor will get the RBI single as Pardue scored. As they have a break in the action, Coach Ember Williams having a conversation with Bingham to try to settle her down. Got the strikeout to start the ball game, and then after that, 3 singles in a row. Maynor with the RBI single. Barasa moved over to third. Maynor went over to second on the throw-in. And so we have a 1-0 game for the Eagles in the top of the first inning. Up to bat now for Northeast Texas, it is Kirsten Fincannon. First pitch swinging, and that whiffs right by her. Good speed by Bingham. 0-1 the count. Kirsten Fincannon, a 283 hitter for Northeast Texas Community College, coming into the contest today. Next offering to the right-handed hitter. There's another swing and a miss, and the count quickly goes to 0-2. Fincannon, a 283 hitter, as I said. Fincannon has 4 home runs. That leads Northeast Texas in home runs. 16 runs batted in. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Fincannon. She's going to golf this one up. It's a pop to short, and Baxter will make the easy grab, and that'll be out number 2 as Fincannon pops out to short. So 2 down with Barasa. Lillian Barasa at third and Maynor at second. 1-0 lead for Northeast Texas. Coming up to bat now, it will be Conley Zachary. Conley Zachary, a sophomore for Northeast Texas Community College. Here's the delivery on the way. There's a shot. Line drive. Gloved at first base by Katrina Morphus. And that'll retire the side. She had her glove hanging down a little bit on the right side. Just put it down a little more and catches that line drive for the 3rd out of the inning. However, Northeast Texas comes up with a run to start the contest. 1 run for Northeast Texas, and the Eagles do it on 3 base hits, back-to-back singles, no Kilgore errors, and 2 runners left on base. So half an inning near the books from Kilgore, and it's 1-0. The Eagles with the lead over the Rangers. We'll come back after this break. It is Kilgore College Softball, brought to you today on the KC Sports Network.
Passing the competition by leaps and bounds. The team of world-class specialists at Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute are experts in caring for bones, joints, and muscles. In addition to treatment, they also provide special programs designed to keep you in optimal shape and improve athletic performance. So whether you're a student athlete or a weekend warrior, they'll keep you at the top of your game. Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, taking orthopedic care a step further.
As we're now heading to the bottom of the 1st inning from the ballpark at KC Commons, Manny Almanza with you on the Kilgore College Sports Network. 1-0 lead for Northeast Texas, getting that 1 run on back-to-back singles in the 1st inning. So for the Rangers, leading it off, it'll be Stephanie Salas. Kilgore's batting order we'll give to you in here just a second, but Salas leading it off. Behind the plate, that first pitch, the right-handed hitter comes in as a strike. So Shelby Seabury is the starting pitcher for Northeast Texas with a 3.67 ERA, a 2-3 record on the season. Right-handed pitcher is the next one, and that's going to be a shot foul by Salas, third base side. And the count quickly goes to 0-2. Salas is a 360 hitter for the Rangers. Three home runs for Salas, 25 runs batted in. 0-2 the count to Salas as we start in the bottom of the 1st inning from Kilgore. Rangers trailing the Eagles 1-0. Here's the delivery. And that one's going to miss. And the count is at 1-2 now. One and two, the count to Salas. Here's the delivery. And Salas, on a pitch that was inside, nubs it up in the air. And the catch is made as Seabury from the circle runs and makes the catch on the first baseline for out number 1. So Salas pops out to the pitcher to start out the Kilgore bottom of the 1st inning. Stephanie Salas for the Rangers, a freshman out of Boyd, Texas. And now coming up to bat is Julissa Ramirez. Ramirez, the freshman center fielder, hailing from Houston. Hits from the left-hand side for Kilgore. First pitch to Julissa will miss low, 1-0 the count. 333 hitter for the Rangers is Julissa. No home runs. She has 8 runs batted in for Kilgore this season. Here's the windup and the next delivery on the way. That's going to be a bounce to third. Finn Cannon, and it'll be a foul call. So that'll be a count of 1-1 now. One down in the inning. Here's the next delivery, and that's going to be a bunt foul by Ramirez. So Salas led off. Ramirez hitting second for Kilgore. Hitting third will be Jordan Andrade, the second baseman. And the cleanup spot for Kilgore is the first baseman, Katrina Morphus. Number 5 hitter for the Rangers, Mary Newville in left field, followed by Alyssa Baxter, the shortstop, hitting number 6. Dakara Anderson is the 7th place hitter for Kilgore at third base. That next pitch misses high and outside to Ramirez, so the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. The number 8 hitter will be Lauren Minitree, the designated player. Number 9 is Lexi Barr in right field for Kilgore, and that's your Kilgore hitting lineup. And that's going to be a strike call. Ramirez caught looking, and that is out number 2 of the inning. He's catching the ball in the side part of the plate with Seabury. So 2 up, 2 down for the Rangers here in the bottom of the first inning for Jordan Andrade, the second baseman. Here comes the first pitch to Jordan. He's going to first pitch swing, bounce it to short, the scoop, the throw, and the inning is over. As was an easy play for the shortstop, Zachary, for Northeast Texas. So Kilgore on the ground out, 6-3, comes up dry. Nothing across for the Rangers in the bottom of the first inning. At the end of 1 inning to play from Kilgore, it is Northeast Texas 1 and Kilgore College nothing. We'll come back after this break. It's Kilgore College softball on the KC Sports Network. Stay with us. We have more Ranger Athletics coming up on the Kilgore College Sports Network. Stay up, kid. Two balls, one strike, the count to the hitter for Northeast Texas. As we go to the top of the second inning, Northeast Texas leading 1-0. A little bit of technical difficulty that we've been able to get corrected here. So now 3-1 is the count to the hitter, Seabury, for Northeast Texas. So it will be for NTCC here in the top of the second inning. The pitcher, Seabury, leading off, Shelby Seabury. Next pitch to her, and that one will miss low, ball 4. So Seabury will go ahead and take the base on balls. She'll hit over to first base. Next up for Northeast Texas here in the bottom of the first inning, it will be Sawyer Strange. Sawyer Strange is a sophomore for Northeast Texas. Strange, a .246 hitter for Northeast. Here's the delivery on the way. That one is going to miss low. 1-0 the count. So Strange hits from the right-hand side for Northeast Texas. Here's the next delivery. That's going to be a bunt up the third baseline, and that'll roll foul. So the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody out. Runner on first is Seabury. So Bingham gave up a run in the first inning. Here's the next delivery. That one missing high and inside. Will put the count of 2 balls and 1 strike. So Bingham, here's the delivery by Bingham. And that's going to come across the plate, and that'll make the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that'll be strike 3 call. As Strange goes down on strikes. That's the second strikeout of the game for Bingham. 1 down with a runner at first. And now coming up to bat for Northeast Texas, it is Sara Cruz Camacho hitting for the left-hand side. Here's the first pitch to her, and that's going to miss. There's going to be a bouncer to Anderson. The throw to second gets the force, and that's how it'll be there. So Anderson is able to get the force at second base. So Seabury goes down on the 5-4 force out, and that will be out number 2. Cruz Camacho making at first base on a fielder's choice. Top of the order now will be Presilin Barasa. First pitch is a ball, then the throw. The stolen base is had as the throw gets by the second baseman. So Cruz Camacho with the stolen base now gets to second. That pitch will miss. The count goes to 2 balls and no strikes now. Here's the delivery, and that's going to be a shot, and that will be a foul ball up the left field line. So no balls and 2 strikes now. Here's a delivery. That's going to be a shot between third and short and into left field for the base hit. So Cruz Camacho will hold up at third base. Presilin Barasa will have a single. That's the 4th hit of the ballgame now for Northeast Texas, and that'll bring up Pardue, the left fielder. Maya Pardue, left fielder, hitting now for Northeast Texas from the left-hand side. Pardue had a single and scored the first run of the ballgame back in the first inning. There's a bunt that is laid down, chased down by Bingham. The throw to first, and it's out. It's in time. What a play by Bingham to get over to first base and gets Pardue streaking toward first, and that'll go down as a 1-3 on the bunt to retire the side. Well, for the Rangers, fortunate to get that one. Northeast Texas had something cooking, but unable to score. No runs for the Eagles in the top of the second inning. 1 base hit, but also add 2 at a walk and a fielder's choice. No Kilgore errors, and 2 were left on base. So we have played an inning and a half from Kilgore. It's 1-0, Northeast Texas over the Rangers. We'll come back after this break on the Kilgore College Sports Network.
Passing the competition by leaps and bounds. The team of world-class specialists at Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute are experts in caring for bones, joints, and muscles. In addition to treatment, they also provide special programs designed to keep you in optimal shape and improve athletic performance. So whether you're a student athlete or a weekend warrior, they'll keep you at the top of your game. Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, taking orthopedic care a step further.
And we're now heading to the bottom of the second inning where Kilgore College trails 1-0 to Northeast Texas Community College. Leading it off for Kilgore will be Katrina Morphus, the first baseman, going up against Seabury. And that pitch will miss high and outside, 1-0 the count. So Morphus for the Rangers, followed by Mary Newville, the left fielder, and then Baxter, the shortstop. That'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Kilgore order. Kilgore got nothing across in the first inning. Morphus will get this one in right center field for the base hit. That one's headed toward the fence, cut off and bobbled, but Morphus is going to play it safe and hold at first base. So Morphus ends up with a single for Kilgore College to lead off the bottom of the second inning. That's the first hit of the ball game for Kilgore. Northeast Texas with a 1-0 lead now over the Rangers. Here's the delivery. That's going to be a bunt. Ends up going foul, first base side. Next up to bat for Kilgore, it's Mary Newville, left fielder. That's going to be a foul that'll go off the backstop. And that'll be 0-2 the count. So Newville fouled at third base side. And then this one, she fouls off the backstop. So 0-2 is the count. And that pitch is going to miss. Count is at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The next pitch by Seabury misses outside. That evens up the count at 2-2. 2-2 is the count. Here's the delivery. Swing and a miss by Newville, and she'll go down on strikes. Second strikeout by Seabury. 1 down, run at versus Morphus, and Alyssa Baxter, the shortstop, comes up to bat now for Kilgore College. And that first pitch is going to miss. 1-0 is the count. Here's the next delivery coming up. That's going to miss. And it's now 3-0, the count to Alyssa Baxter. The count to Baxter. Crouches. Here's the delivery by Seabury. And that's going to be a strike on the inside part of the plate. So the count goes to 3-1. 3-1 the count. Baxter will lay the bunt down right in front of the plate. Picked up by Seabury over to first. And it's just in time to get Baxter. That's out number 2. So Baxter will go down on the sacrifice bunt, 1-3. Morphus will move over to second with 2 down, and here is Dakara Anderson. That first pitch misses high. The count goes to 1-0. And that next pitch, and that'll be a time call as it's low, and the count is at 2-0 now. So time called, and we'll have a visit out to the circle there. Sidney Blakeman is one of the assistants, Chet Zachary the other, Denise Tyson, the head softball coach for Northeast Texas, and I believe this is Chet Zachary that is going out to the circle. All right, here's the delivery, and that one is going to miss. 3-0 is the count. So 3-0 the count to Dakara Anderson. And that one is going to miss ball 4. So Anderson is walked. So Dakara Anderson draws the walk, so she ends up at first. Here's the next pitch to the next hitter, Lauren Minitry, the designated player. And that one will be a strike straight across the plate. The count is at 1-0. So Morphus is at second base. And that next pitch is going to be a strike, and the count goes even at 1-1. Morphus at second, Anderson at first with a walk. Minitry to the plate, whistling high, and that count goes to 2-1 now to Lauren. Lauren Minitry, a sophomore playing first base from Marshall, Texas. That's going to be a bouncer, and it'll end up being caught behind second base, and that'll retire the side. That was more a soft liner, not a bouncer, but caught behind second to end the inning, and that's a nice job by the second baseman, Martinez, to make the catch. So Minitry lines out to second, and that'll retire the side. So for Kilgore College in the bottom of the second inning, the Rangers with no runs, 1 base hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. 2 innings in the books from Kilgore. It's 1-0. Northeast Texas with the lead over Kilgore College. We'll come back after this break on the Kilgore College Sports Network. Stay with us. More Ranger Athletics coming up on the KC Sports Network. All right, about to begin the top of the third inning with the Rangers trailing Northeast Texas 1-0. Casey Bingham still in the circle for Kilgore. Leading it off the inning, it will be for Northeast Texas, Lillian Barasa, the catcher, followed by Maynor, the right fielder, and then Finn Cannon, the third baseman. So we've had some technical difficulties with our stream, and we apologize for that, but I think we are in good stead now and back on the air with our live stream of Kilgore College softball. One nothing lead for Northeast Texas. So 1-1 is the count now. And the next pitch, that's going to be skied by Barasa into left field. And that will end up being a foul ball. And that was straight. That was out of the park. It was out of the park, but it was foul. So the count is at 1-2 now to Lily and Barasa. So Barasa, Maynard, and Fincannon for Northeast Texas. That's going to be a shot that'll go in the center field. And coming up and making the play for Kilgore, it's Jaleesa Ramirez for out number 1. So Barasa will fly out to center field for the first out. Up to bat now it will be Maynard, the right fielder. First pitch is high to Maynard. 1-0 is the count. So Alyssa Maynard is a freshman for Northeast Texas who fouls this one back. So 1-1 the count. Here's the next delivery coming up now. And that one will go into the ground. And 2-1 is the count to Alyssa Maynard. So Fincannon is on deck for Northeast Texas. And here's the delivery. And that's going to be fouled up. And then they're going out of play. So 2 balls and 2 strikes now, with 1 down in the inning. That shot's going to be a line drive into right field, and that'll end up dropping in for the base hit. So Maynard gets her first hit of the ball game. It's a single for Northeast Texas. That is hit number 5 in the contest. So 1 down with the runner at first, Maynard, and Fincannon will come to bat, the third baseman for Northeast Texas. It will be Kirsten Fincannon, sophomore. So here is the delivery to Fincannon, and she'll foul this back out of play. And that'll make the count 0-1. That'll be a shot that'll go into left field and bounce. No! It's dropped by Kilgore's left fielder, Mary Newville. Uncharacteristic. And that'll end up being an error. Fincannon will reach first on the error. That'll be an E7. Maynard goes to second, so 1 down, runners at first and second. And Mary Newville, the very dependable left fielder that time, drops the ball. And the bright sunlight, there's an error. So now coming up to bat for Northeast Texas, it is Zachary. Conley Zachary, sophomore. That's going to be a roller to Bingham over at first. She'll get the out to Minatre. And that's out number 2. So Zachary goes down 1-3. Maynard moves on over to third. Fincannon on over to second. So on the sacrifice, 2 down, and out to bat it's going to be Seabury, the pitcher. So Seabury walked her first time up, but then ended up being forced out. But now there are 2 runners in scoring position for Northeast Texas. And that's going to be a pitch that misses high and outside. 1-0 the count to Seabury. So 1-0 the count. Here's the wind and the delivery. And that'll go into the ground, making it 2-0. So it's 2-0 now to Seabury. There's two down, two runners on in scoring position for Northeast Texas. Here's the delivery. And that one is going to miss, making the count 3 balls and no strikes. So 3-0 the count here to Seabury. On deck for Northeast Texas, Sawyer Strange. But there's two down. This is a big pitch now for Bingham. And that's going to miss, ball 4. Now the bases are loaded. So Seabury draws her second walk of the ball game. That is the second walk that's issued by Bingham. And we'll have a time call as Coach Ember Williams will come out to the circle. Bases are loaded for Northeast Texas. Maynard's at third, Fincannon at second, and Seabury at first, with two down and Strange coming up to bat. So it was a quick visit by Coach Williams. You know, Kilgore's fighting for their playoff lives. So every win is important. You need to finish in the top 4 of your division to be able to move on to the regional tournament. And the Rangers are just behind Navarro College in that. So here is Strange. First baseman struck out our first time up in the second inning. And now has an opportunity here to get things going. Here's the wind and the delivery. And that one is going to be a strike call on the outside part of the plate. 0-1 the count. Bit of a hesitation on that there for a second. But 0-1 the count. That's Strange fouling it. Going over toward her dugout. Her teammates duck a little bit. That'll put the count at no balls and 2 strikes. In the top of third inning from Kilgore. 1-0 lead for Northeast Texas Community College. Here's the wind and the delivery. That's going to be fouled again. The count remains at 0-2 to Strange. Cruz Camacho on deck if Strange gets on. But there's 2 outs with runners in scoring position for Northeast Texas. The bases loaded, I should say. 0-2 pitch to Strange. And she'll again foul this first base side. So the count holds at 0-2. So Bingham going up against Strange to try to get the third out. Get the third strike and get the Rangers out of a jam here. Oh, 0-2 the count. Here's the delivery. And that's going to be a strike 3 call. What a pitch by Bingham as Strange is caught looking, and that will retire the side. That was a huge pitch by Ingham to end the inning. Northeast Texas comes up dry. No runs for the Eagles. 1 base hit, 1 Kilgore error, but 3 runners left on base. Wow. Bingham got into a jam, and then a big strikeout on Strange to get out of the jam for Bingham. That's his 3rd strikeout of the ball game. So 2.5 innings in the books from Kilgore. And it's Northeast Texas 1 and Kilgore College nothing. We will come back after this break. This is Kilgore College Softball brought to you today on the KC Sports Network. Stay with us for more Ranger Athletics.
All across East Texas and around the world, former Kilgore College students are working hard for their best life. They're building a brighter future. They're moving in the right direction. They're in powerful positions. And they're superheroes protecting and serving. If you're ready to work for your best life, put Kilgore College to work for you.
Lexi Barr coming up for the Rangers to lead off the bottom of the third inning. Kilgore trying to get something cooking as the Rangers trail the Eagles of Northeast Texas 1-0. Seabury in the circle, and Barr will bounce this one towards short. Nice backhanded stab over to first, but not in time as Lexi Barr is able to beat it out. So Barr comes up with an infield single for Kilgore College. For the Rangers, that's the second hit of the ball game against Seabury. So the Rangers got something going now with a runner at first and nobody out. Going to the top of the order, Stephanie Salas. This is the second time Salas comes to the plate. She led off the ball game by popping out to the pitcher. Here's the first pitch. Salas check swings, pulls it back. Pitch is high, 1-0 the count. Northeast Texas on top with a 1-0 lead over the Rangers as we're in the bottom of the third inning from Kilgore. Here's the next delivery on the way, and that's going to be a shot. That's gloved by Finn Cannon at third over to first. And Salas goes down. Nice job by Finn Cannon to trap the ball. Didn't get it up to let it get up the line. And then Finn Cannon tosses over to first to get the 5-3 put out. Barr advances over to second with one down and running scoring position for the Rangers. And Jolisa Ramirez, left-handed hitter, comes up. She struck out her first time up back in the first inning. Here's the delivery. And that one is into the ground. 1-0 the count. The 1-0 the count to Jolisa Ramirez. She'll pop this one foul. It'll go out of play third base side. And that'll put the count even at 1-1 with one down. But a runner at second being Lexi Barr, beating out an infield single. So Ramirez with an opportunity here to do something for the Rangers. And that bunt is going off the end of the bat and behind the plate. And that'll put the count in the ball and 2 strikes now. Here's the delivery. That's going to be a bouncer to short. Toss over to first is in time. That's a great stretch by the first baseman. Strange. High toss over by the shortstop Zachary, but the out is made, and that's 2 down. The runner holds a second, so Ramirez goes down 6-3. And now here's Jordan Andrade. Left-handed hitted second baseman. Got right-handed hitting second baseman. I'll get my words out pretty quickly, and they'll be intelligible at some point. Yeah, it's going to be a pitch that'll miss low and inside, 1-0 the count. That one's going to be a low pitch. The throw over to third, and in time. Lexi Barr tried to steal the base. And she gets caught at third, caught stealing for the third out of the inning. Andrade was at the plate. She'll come back to the plate in the fourth inning. But wow, for the Rangers, they got the leadoff single by Lexi Barr, and then 2 ground outs, and then Barr is caught stealing. No runs, 1 base hit, no errors. Nobody left on base for the Rangers. So we have played 3 complete innings from Kilgore. It's still Northeast Texas 1 and Kilgore College nothing. We will come back after this break. You're watching Kilgore College softball on the Kilgore College Sports.
Whether you're a competitive athlete ready to up your game, or a busy professional trying to get back into the swing of things, or a little pitcher with a big arm, with advanced diagnostic tools and a comprehensive biomechanics lab, Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine & Joint Sports Medicine provides you access to a top-tier facility, a seasoned staff of medical experts, and the trust of over 30 local sports teams. Get your season started right with physician-owned Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine & Joint Hospital.
And here we go to the top of the fourth inning. Northeast Texas leading Kilgore College 1-0. Here's the pitch by Bingham to the hitter, Sara Cruz Camacho. And that'll miss 1-0 the count. Camacho, the center fielder for Northeast Texas, ended up on a fielder's choice. Stole second base And then after that, the inning ended for her. Moved on over to third on a single, actually. So the count is even at 1-1. After that, strike to Camacho. Left-handed hitting, center fielder for Northeast Texas, Sarai Cruz Camacho. Here's the next delivery. That one's going to be low. 2-1 the count now to Camacho. So the Rangers were hoping to get something going in the last of the inning, last of the third inning. Unable to turn the corner on that, however. Pitch missing, makes the count 3 balls and 1 strike. Here's Bingham's delivery to Camacho. And that'll catch the outside part of the plate to make the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Cruz Camacho, a .232 hitter for Northeast Texas. No home runs. And no runs batted in for Cruz Camacho. And this is a shot that's off the glove of Anderson. And that'll put Camacho at first base. And that'll be the second Kilgore error. We'll mark that an E5. Anderson had it right in her glove on the hard shot, and it just came out of there. That'll be an error. Second Kilgore error of the ball game. And now up to bat will be President Barasa, left-handed hitting designated player. 1 for 2 today with a single and a strikeout. Here's the pitch into the ground. The throw to second is not in time. Cruz Camacho with her second stolen base of the ball game. So nobody out. 1 ball to the hitter, Barasa. And Northeast Texas has a runner at second now with a 1-0 lead. Here's the delivery. That's going to be a bouncer. Gloved at short by Baxter with a first in time. The throw to third. And safe. Yes, Cruz Camacho. So Barasa ends up grounding out. Cruz Camacho went over to third on the throw. So now with 1 down, Pardue, the right fielder up, make it the left fielder. First pitch to Pardue, and that'll be a strike. 0-1 the count. Maya Pardue, a freshman for Northeast Texas. Here's the next pitch by Bingham. And that'll miss low and outside, making the count 1-1. Rangers are in 5th place in the North Division, a 5-9 record in conference play, 13-33 overall. The Rangers are 2 games behind Navarro College out of that 4th spot. Northeast Texas in 7th in the North at 2-12 in conference, 10-34 overall. So again, the Rangers can get into the playoffs, so they can get into the top 4. Right now, they're 2 games out of that. And there's a shot that bounces over Anderson, and that actually hit a Northeast Texas player, the runner at third, Camacho. And now the officials, the referees, will have a conversation here. Camacho was standing at third base when the ball hit her. It bounced over Anderson and hit Camacho, standing on third. In the meantime, Pardue ends up at second base. Let's see what the umpires say. They'll have a discussion about this. All right, they're going to go ahead and keep the runner at third base now. So Cruz Camacho stays at third, and Pardue ends up going over to second, and that'll end up being an infield single. So 2 runners in scoring position now with 1 down for Northeast Texas. Now Coach Ember Williams wants to have a discussion with the home plate umpire. And we'll see what this talk is about here. And one more time, the 2 umpires, the base and plate umpire, will have another discussion. Northeast Texas on top 1-0 in this contest, with one down in the top of the fourth inning. All right, so Lillian Barasa, who is 1 for 2 today at the plate, and she gets this one into left field for the base hit. So Pardue will score from second. Scoring from third, Cruz Camacho. And Northeast Texas tacks on 2 more runs and now leads Kilgore by a count of 3-0. Maynard up to bat. So Lillian Barasa ends up at second with a 2 RBI single. Moved on over to second on the throw in. Maynard will pop this one up to center field. Ramirez makes the catch, and that'll be out number 2. But Cruz Camacho came home to score from third. And then Pardue scoring from second. Barasa had second with 2 down after the Maynard flyout, and here is Fincannon. Third baseman Fincannon reached on an error back in the third inning, and she'll stroke this one foul out of play. Left field side, straighten it out, and that ends up being a 2-run home run. So it's now 0-1 to Fincannon. Here's the next pitch on the way. That's going to be a strike call, making it no balls and 2 strikes now. Bingham came up with a big pitch last time in the third inning to get the Rangers out of trouble. Another pitch here for a third strike would help Kilgore's cause. Here's the delivery. That one's going to miss outside. 1-2 the count to Fincannon. Fincannon, 283 hitter. Again, 4 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Fincannon leads Northeast Texas in home runs this year. So here's the delivery. And that's going to be a pop-up. Ends up being fouled out of play. So ball and 2 strikes to Fincannon. Again, the runner at second is Lillian Barasa. The 2 RBI single. Ended up going to second on the throw in. The delivery, swing and a miss by Fincannon. And she goes down on strikes, and the side is retired. Another big pitch by Bingham to get out of the inning. But Northeast Texas scores 2 runs in the top of the fourth inning. And the Eagles do it on 2 base hits. 1 Kilgore College error, 1 runner left on base. So we have 3.5 innings in the books from Kilgore, and it is the Eagles 3, the Rangers nothing. And we will come back after this break. You're watching Kilgore College softball on the KC Sports Network.
This is what we've been waiting for. At the dawn of forevermore, we can stand on this ground so.
Whether it is in our drive-thru or in our dining room, it'll always be our pleasure at Chick-fil-A to give you the best dining experience possible.
All right, we are now heading to the bottom of the fourth inning. The Kilgore College Rangers trail Northeast Texas by a count of 3-0 as the wind kicks up a little bit more at the ballpark at KC Commons. Kilgore sending Jordan Andrade up to bat. She was at the plate in the third inning when Barr was caught stealing, trying to go from second to third. So she'll get a do-over here, so to speak, going up against the pitcher, Shelby Seabury. And that pitch will go hit the backstop and then bounce back onto the field. 1-0 the count. That had some heat on it. Andrade, a 262 hitter for Kilgore. No home runs, but 13 runs batted in. Has 3 doubles and a triple. And that'll be a foul, making it ball and a strike. Going third base side. Andrade has drawn 2 walks this season. Has a strikeout, a sacrifice fly. And that pitch misses low, makes it a 2-1 count. So far, Shelby Seabury for Northeast Texas, enjoying a 3-0 lead. Missing high, the count goes to 3-1 to Andrade. Well, it's the Rangers being honored on sophomore day today. Here's the delivery, and that's going to be popped up by Andrade. Coming on over to make the play and grabbing it for Northeast Texas is their second baseman, and that is Lilian Barraza for out number 1. So Andrade pops out to second. Here is Katrina Morphus, the first baseman, back in the second inning, a single, but was stranded at second for the Rangers. First pitch to the left-handed hitter is a ball, low and in the dirt, 1-0 the count. Wind kicking up here in Kilgore, as you can hear. Next delivery, and that's going to be poked foul down the third base line. So 1-1 the count now. Sunny skies, 69 degrees. The sun shining brightly today here in Kilgore. Here's the delivery, and that one is going to just miss. 2 balls and a strike. A little bit of a question by the Northeast Texas players about that. That's going to be a bouncer over the head of the pitcher over to first in time, and that's out number 2. That's a nice job by the second baseman, Lilian Barraza, after they bounced over the head of Seabury. But Morphus is able to go down 4-3. So 2 down, and here comes Mary Newville, left fielder, left-handed hitting batter for Kilgore, striking out her first time up back in the second inning. The pitch to Mary, and that is going to miss outside, 1-0 the count. So 3-0 lead now for Northeast Texas, scoring 1 in the first and 2 in the fourth. Pitch is in the dirt and outside, 2-0 the count. So at times, Shelby Seabury seems like she's struggling, but then she's able to put it together. So 2-0. That pitch will bounce and come back to the backstop and make it 3-0. Of course, Kilgore getting a nice renewal of the KC Commons with a padded backstop. Padding on the fence at the top of the fence railing as well. Nice padding in front of the dugouts. Here's the pitch. And that'll miss ball 4. So Newville draws the walk. So with 2 down, the walk to Newville. Time called as the catcher for Northeast Texas, Lilian Barraza, will go out and have a talk to Shelby Seabury. And now here comes Denise Tyson, the head coach for Northeast Texas, to have a visit. So for Seabury, that is just her second walk of the game. Seabury with a couple of strikeouts as well. Her team has supported her. 3-run lead. So Alyssa Baxter will come to bat now for Kilgore. Baxter, a 190 hitter this season. Couple of home runs, 6 runs batted in for Baxter. Still the visit at the circle. Home plate umpire goes to join the party for a minute, probably to shorten it up a little bit, and that'll be it. Coach Tyson will head back to the dugout. 2 down for the Rangers. Runner at first is Newville, drawing the walk just a moment ago. Now Alyssa Baxter has a chance to try to move her around the base path. Here's the pitch to Baxter, and that one will miss. 1-0 the count, a little bit high. Seabury will rock and fire, and that one misses low just below the knees and makes it a 2-0 count now. So 2 down, runner at first, Baxter at the plate. On deck for Kilgore, it's Anderson. And that's going to be a strike call, making it 2-1. I don't know if you heard through the crowd mic the questioning of the call by the Kilgore fans behind us. Good group here today. So Baxter, actually with a sacrifice back in the second inning, moving runners around. Rangers unable to score on that. 3-1 as the pitch is outside now. So Alyssa trying to keep the inning alive for the Rangers. Next delivery. And that one's going to miss ball 4. So Baxter draws the walk. Newville goes to second. Baxter to first. 2 walks in a row now by Seabury. And Dakara Anderson, who walked back in the second inning, comes to the plate now. Right-handed hitter for the Kilgore Rangers. Anderson, a .268 hitter, has 1 home run with 10 runs batted in. That pitch comes in. There's a strike. 0-1 the count. Wind picking up a little bit now, cooling things down. Things are not terribly hot right now. Winds at 9 miles an hour coming from the southeast. Pitch misses, making it count 1-1. And Anderson will get this one in a right field for the base hit. Rounding third and coming home to score. Sliding in, it's Newville. Heading on over to third, it's Baxter. There's an RBI single. And the Rangers are finally on the board, now trailing by a score of 3-1. So 2 down. Newville coming home to score. Baxter again at third, and Anderson's at first base. Minitry is up to bat now. It's an RBI there by Anderson. That pitch will miss outside, 1-0 the count. So for Anderson, that is RBI number 11 on the year. Comes up big for Kilgore, 3-1 lead for Northeast Texas. That one will miss high, and the count goes to 2-0 now. Bottom of the 4th, the Rangers finally on the scoreboard. Here's the delivery. That one's going to miss, making the count at 3-1. Make it 3-0, excuse me. Imaginary one up there for me. The score is 3-1. Northeast with the lead over Kilgore. Delivery. And that one is going to be a strike call inside part of the plate to make the count 3-1 now. Here's the delivery. And Minitry will foul this one out of play. So Lauren is now at 3-2. Lauren lined out to the second baseman to end the second inning. Designated player, sophomore for the Rangers, out of Marshall. Here's the pitch. And Lauren will get this one in the center field and drops in for the base hit. Baxter will score. Minitry has a single. And the Rangers are now down 3-2. Anderson ends up at second. Minitry with an RBI single. Rangers trail by a run. Seabury still in for Northeast. Up to bat for Kilgore. Lexi Barr had a single back in the third inning, but was caught stealing. First pitch swinging, pops this one up. Foul third base side. Fincannon makes the grab. and that'll retire the side. But the Rangers finally get on the scoreboard here in the 4th inning. 2 runs for Kilgore College. And the Rangers end up doing it on 2 base hits. Also, you throw 2 walks into the mix. In fact, both of the walks, and these were 2-out walks by Seabury, both of the ladies who walked scored for Kilgore, and then he had the 2 back-to-back singles. So 2 runs, 2 base hits, no errors by Northeast Texas, and the Rangers did strand 2 on the base path. But it's a new ball game. We're into 4 innings. At the end of 4 innings of play from Kilgore, it's now Northeast Texas 3 and Kilgore College 2. We'll come back after this break. You are watching Kilgore College Softball on the KC Sports Network. Stay with us for more Ranger Athletics. And we're heading now to the top of the 5th inning with the Kilgore College Rangers trailing Northeast Texas 3-2. And coming up to bat for the Eagles in the top of the 5th inning as the wind kicks up even more now from the southeast. It will be Zachary, the shortstop. Conley Zachary, followed by the pitcher Seabury, Shelby Seabury, and then it'll be the first baseman, Sawyer Strange. So 3-2. Here's the first pitch as the Rangers have a new pitcher into the lineup. So Bingham is being relieved by Jordan Andrade, the sophomore out of Mount Pleasant, who is playing second base. And the next pitch by Zachary misses. The count is 2-0. So that was 4 innings of work for Bingham. And now Andrade missing outside. The count is 3-0. So Bingham pitched for 4 innings. And here is Zachary. His work to count 3-0 on the reliever Andrade, and that one is ball 4. So on 4 pitches, Andrade walks Zachary. So Bingham relieved. Andrade comes in, and that is their first walk of the ball game. Seabury up to bat now for Northeast Texas. Andrade with a 3.60 ERA. First pitch by Andrade, and that misses. 1-0 the count. 0-1 is the record for Andrade this year, pitching 11.2 innings. And there's a strike call in the inside part of the plate. So after 5 straight balls, Andrade gets a strike going her way, and that makes the count even at 1-1 on Seabury. 15 hits, 10 runs given up by Andrade. 6 runs earned, 9 walks, 10 strikeouts, and allowing 2 home runs. And that pitch comes in for a strike, and now the count is 1-2. First time Andrade is ahead of the hitters. And there is a pop-up by Seabury, and it's caught for the out by Morphus. So Seabury will end up popping up to first. It was into foul territory. That'll be the first out of the inning with Zachary Holden at first, and now here is Strange, who has struck out twice today. Hitting for the right-handed side, Andrade, the right-handed pitcher. Now off-speed pitch will just miss. 1-0 the count. And the Kilgore fans are loving the pitches that Andrade are throwing. Here's the next delivery, and that one is fouled out of play. Didn't catch the change in number now. Remington Metter, a freshman, has come into bat for Strange. So Remington Metter on to bat for Strange. Metter wearing number 14. Two and one is the count with one down to Remington Metter of Northeast Texas. That's going to be a shot that'll go up the middle for a base hit. So the switch in the lineup works. Metter comes up with a single straight up the middle. That's her first at bat, first hit of the ball game. Zachary moves on over to second. Metter's at first with one down. And Cruz Camacho, the center fielder, will come up to bat. Camacho reached on an error back in the fourth inning. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second. She has 2 stolen bases today. Scored a run in the fourth. First pitch misses high. 1-0 the count with one down. Runners at first and second now for Northeast Texas. Cruz Camacho hitting from the left-hand side, and that pitch will be a strike on the outside part of the plate to make it an even count of 1-1 with one down. Here's the delivery by Andrade. A number cut by Andrade with a first for the double play to retire the side. Nice job by Andrade. The number by Camacho hung in the air. Andrade put a glove on the ground, makes the snag cleanly, and then fires it over to first for the double play. That ends up being a 1-3 double play to end the inning. Northeast Texas in the fifth inning ends up with no runs. 1 base hit, no Kilgore errors, and 2 make it 1 left on base after the double play. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. So that's how the top of the fifth inning goes. Northeast Texas comes up scoreless. The score remains 3-2. Northeast Texas with the lead over Kilgore College. We will take this break. This is Kilgore College Softball, brought to you today on the KC Sports Network. Stay with us. More Ranger Athletics is coming up again on the Kilgore College Sports Network.
Passing the competition by leaps and bounds. The team of world-class specialists at Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute are experts in caring for bones, joints, and muscles. In addition to treatment, they also provide special programs designed to keep you in optimal shape and improve athletic performance. So whether you're a student athlete or a weekend warrior, they'll keep you at the top of your game. Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, taking orthopedic care a step further.
All right, we are heading to the bottom of the fifth inning. The Rangers trailing 3-2. Jordan Andrade getting out of a jam in relief in the fifth inning on the top side. And now for the Rangers in the bottom of the fifth, here's Stephanie Salas, the leadoff hitter, leading off the fifth inning. Seabury pitching for Northeast. First pitch comes in across the plate for a strike. 0-1 the count to Stephanie Salas. Salas is 0 for 2 today with a pop out and a ground out. Seabury checking the wristband. Here's the next delivery. And that one's going to miss high. Count evens up at 1-1. That's going to be a bouncer, gloved by Fincannon at third, over to first, as Metter has come in to replace Strange at first base. That's one down. 5-3 goes Salas for the second time today, 0 for 3 in the contest. Here's Jolisa Ramirez, the center fielder, who is 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a ground out. Want to know the count as Seabury misses with their first pitch to Ramirez. Here's the next delivery on the way. And Ramirez will take a strike. And the count evens up at 1-1. 1-1 with one down. Bottom of the fifth inning. Rangers trailing this one 3-2. And the next pitch missing makes the count 2-1. And Ramirez will foul this one out of play. And that'll make the count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count with one down. Here's the rock and fire by Seabury. And that one will miss low, and the count goes to 3-2 now. So full count to Ramirez with one down. Base is empty for the Rangers. Here's the delivery by Seabury. Heat. That's going to be a strike 3 call. Ramirez goes down looking on strikes. And for Seabury, that is strikeout number 3 in the ball game. So 2 down, and here he is for Kilgore, Jordan Andrade, who is now the pitcher for the Rangers. She started out as a second baseman. Here's the delivery. That first pitch misses inside, 1-0 the count. So the Rangers hoping to get something going here. Andrade is 0 for 2 today as well. Bouncer right off the knee of Seabury. Rolls on over to second, over to first, and that'll be the out. Good recovery for Northeast Texas. Off the knee of Seabury, but a nice job by Martinez to get the out to retire the side. That's a 4-3 put out. And the Rangers go down in order. 3 up, 3 down for Kilgore in the bottom of the fifth inning. So with nothing across after 5 innings, the score remains Northeast Texas 3 and Kilgore College 2. We will go ahead and take this break. This is Kilgore College Softball, brought to you today on the KC Sports Network. Stay with us for more Ranger Athletics.
Whether you're a competitive athlete ready to up your game, or a busy professional trying to get back into the swing of things, or a little pitcher with a big arm, with advanced diagnostic tools and a comprehensive biomechanics lab, Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine & Joint Sports Medicine provides you access to a top-tier facility, a seasoned staff of medical experts, and the trust of over 30 local sports teams. Get your season started right with physician-owned Baylor Scott & White Texas Spine & Joint Hospital.
Going to the top of the sixth inning now, with the Rangers down 3-2 to Northeast Texas. Jordan Andrade in the circle in relief of the starter, Casey Bingham. Up to bat for Northeast Texas. It'll be at the top of the order. This is Fleshly Lynn Barasa hitting from the left-hand side. She is 1 for 3 today. Time called, and now we'll get things going here again. First pitch on the way, and that's going to be a shot gloved by Baxter over to first on the high bouncer, and that'll be the first out of the inning. So Barasa goes down 6-3. Nice job by Baxter sticking with it. And now coming up to bat for Northeast Texas, it is Pardue. So Maya Pardue is 2 for 3 today. A couple of singles and a couple of runs scored. Every time she's been on, she has scored. So here's the pitch to Andrade. By Andrade. Pardue missing high, 1-0 the count. So here's the next offering now, and that one's going to be fouled back off the backstop. That'll put the count even at 1-1. Give you the story on Casey Bingham, the Kilgore starter, in just a second. That one's into the ground, and that'll put the count at 3 balls and a strike. So Bingham pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 runs on 7 hits, striking out 4, and walking 2. There's a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 2-1 to Pardue. Wait, are they going to say that it's a check swing? They must say that's a check swing to make the count 3-1. All right, it's 3-1. And that's going to be a single into center field for the base hit. So Pardue reaches again. Pardue is 3 for 3 today for Northeast Texas and has scored 2 runs. Northeast leads Kilgore 3-2. That's been the Pardue show in this game today for Northeast Texas. So up to bat is Lillian Barasa. A 2 RBI single back in the 4th inning. She's 2 for 3 today. First pitch to Lillian, check swing. And actually that caught the bat, so it'll make it a foul. 0-1 the count with 1 down and a runner at first. So Barasa followed by Maynor in the order. 2 for 3, 2 RBIs for Barasa today. Runner at first with 1 down. Here's the pitch. Missing high. Throw over to second, and it is going to be a stolen base for Barasa. Make it for Pardue, excuse me. Pardue with a stolen base. The throw by Kilgore's catcher, Salas, floated over to second base, and then unable to get the pickup, the Kilgore's second baseman. There's a bouncer to short, and it goes by Baxter, and it'll be too late to pick up. Baxter bobbled that one, actually. And so now there are runners at first and second. And that took a funny bounce. We're going to call that a single for Barasa. Lillian is 3 for 4 today, and now here is Maynor, the right fielder, who is 2 for 3 today with an RBI single back in the 1st inning. Helped get the first run of the game across the plate. Fouled by Maynor. 0-1 the count. Time called. Northeast Texas is going to have a courtesy runner. You catch the number of that runner. Jersey is scrunched up a little bit, but it looks like that's going to be Bailey Spillman, a freshman, number 4. 4 for 6. So Spillman comes in a run for Barasa. So Spillman now the courtesy runner at first. Runners at first and second for the Eagles with 1 down. 1 strike on the hitter, Maynor. That's going to be a pop-up by Maynor, and that'll be off the backstop. And that'll put the count at 0-2 to Alyssa Maynor, freshman for Northeast Texas. Top of the 6th inning with a 3-2 lead for the Eagles. Here's Andrade ready for the delivery. Here it comes. Off-speed pitch. Gets into the ground. Doesn't get away, however. Nice stop by the Kilgore backstop Salas. 1-2 the count with 1 down. Playing second base now for Kilgore College, Ava Martin, who's a freshman out of Hallsville, Texas. And that pitch misses high. Out of the glove of Salas, and the runners move up. Pardue over to third, Spillman over to second. And that one will go as a pass ball. Actually, call that a wild pitch. That pitch did get a little bit high and it brought Salas out of her crouch. So runners in scoring position at second and third with 1 down. And 2-2 is the count of the hitter, Alyssa Maynor. Here's the delivery by Andrade. That's another pop-up off the backstop. And that puts the count, or keeps the count at 2-2. Very happy the backstop was there. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 down. Runners at second and third for the Eagles. Pitch to Maynard, misses high, making the count full at 3-2. This is a big pitch here now for Andrade in relief. Checking over to the dugout, then checking the wristband is Andrade. Now here we go with the pitch. That's going to be a shot by Maynard. It'll go into center field and it drops in for a base hit. Arvita stole but couldn't get to it. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Maynard holds up at second. And Northeast Texas tacks on 2 to lead the game 5-2. So Maynard comes up with a double with 2 ribbies. That scores Pardue and Spillman. And now 5 runs in for Northeast Texas. Up to bat now is Finn Cannon, the third baseman. Here's a delivery. That's going to be a strike on the inside part of the plate, right at the knees. On 1 the count to Finn Cannon. So Kirsten Finn Cannon, a sophomore for Northeast Texas, reached on an error. Is 0 for 2 today otherwise with a pop out and a strikeout. Here's the delivery. Into the ground. Count evens up at 1-1. Maynard scampers back to second base, but what a big double. 1 down in the inning. Finn Cannon with the red Northeast Texas helmet. Here's the delivery. And that one's into the ground to make it 2 balls and a strike. And some of the helmets are navy blue for Northeast Texas, matching their uniforms. Eagles on top, 5-2. 1 in the first, 2 in the fourth, and 2 in the sixth for Northeast Texas. Here's the delivery. That's going to be a swing and a miss by Finn Cannon on a pitch that was high and outside, making the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still 1 out here for the Eagles. The Rangers trying to get out of this jam. Had cut the lead to 3-2, and now it's ballooned back up to 5-2 with 1 down. That's a strike call, catching Finn Cannon at the knees, and that is out number 2. Big pitch by Andrade to get the second out of the inning. So 2 down for Zachary. Zachary, the shortstop. Conley Zachary. Conley with a couple of ground outs and a walk. So for 2 today. That's going to be a pop-up. Ends up going into the netting, making the count 0-1. Zachary had a sacrifice bunt on that 1-3 put out. Also drawing a walk today. No balls, 1 strike to Conley Zachary with 2 outs in the inning. Runner at second is Maynard for Northeast Texas. That was high. The question is, did she hold up? No, she didn't. That makes the count even at 1-1. Andrade in the circle, taking a look at the wristband, ready for the next delivery. Missing high, puts the count at 2-1 now. Throwing some heat, Andrade is. Has mixed her pitches with some fastball and some off-speed stuff. Here's the delivery. That's into the ground. And that'll make the count at 3-1. Ball 4, pitch is low, and that'll put runners at first and second. So Zachary draws her second walk of the day. Also had a sacrifice bunt. So time called as Kilgore College will now send their assistant coach out to talk with Andrade. We have a visit to the circle. So Seabury will come up to bat, having a talk with Coach Chet Zachary. Okay, so Andrade gets settled by the Kilgore coaching staff and her battery mate, Salas. And here we go. 2 down. The batter is Seabury. Seabury has walked twice and also popped out. Here's the pitch. There's a strike inside part of the plate. Good placement by Andrade. 0-1 the count. Andrade looks at the dugout, looks at the wristband. Here's the next delivery. Missing high, the count goes even at 1-1.
They got some good scores.
Andrade getting some encouragement from the crowd. Seabury pops this one up, third base side, and ends up going foul. I think Anderson lost it in the sun. She ended up looking for it, then lost sight of it. Landed in foul territory, but I think, again, because of the sun, she lost sight of it. So that'll make the count of ball and 2 strikes with 2 down. So 1-2. Here's the pitch. Off speed, goes into the ground. And Salas couldn't throw to get the runner at third. The runner's moved on the pitch. So Maynard went on over to third. Zachary over to second on a double steal. So 2-2 with 2 down. And now Seabury has 2 runners in scoring position and strokes this one deep into left field. And that will bounce off the fence over the glove of Newville. 2 runs already come in. Seabury will have a stand-up double. And it's a 7-2 lead now for Northeast Texas. So Seabury with their first hit of the ball game, and it is a double, and it yields 2 runs. So Maynard and Zachary scored for Northeast Texas. 4 across this inning for the Eagles. And the lead is 7-2, and that's going to be it for Jordan Andrade. So Andrade's relief stint is over. An inning and 2/3 before she comes out of the ball game. So we have a pitching change now for Kilgore. And the ball's been handed over to Jasmine Gallegos, a sophomore out of Jacksonville, Texas. So Jasmine Gallegos will come on to go ahead and pitch for Kilgore College, I believe. Let me see. Yep, she's there. And they're going to put Andrade back at second base. She has her glove in hand. And I believe she'll go back to her second base slot. So we have a pause in the action with a pitching change as the Rangers now trail Northeast Texas 7-2 here in the top of the 6th inning. 4 runs across this inning for Northeast Texas. After Barasa grounded out 6-3, Pardue had a single. That was Presley Barasa who grounded out. Lillian Barasa ended up with a single. So 2 runners on. Pardue also ended up stealing a base. And then Maynard had a double that yielded 2 RBIs, knocking in Pardue and Lillian Barasa. Maynard was on base. A strikeout by Fincannon. Zachary ended up walking, stealing a base, and then Seabury with a 2-out, 2 RBI double to make it 7-2. And here is Metter up to bat now for Northeast Texas. First pitch to Metter is a strike. 1-0 is the count. As Jasmine Gallegos is now the hurler for Kilgore College. Remington Metter up to bat. Came on in the 5th inning. Ended up with a single in her first time up. Now back to bat here in the 6th inning. Next pitch by Jasmine is going to be a grounder to second. Bounced funny, but nice job by Andrade to hang on to it as she went back to play second base after a pitching stint. And over to first to retire the side. Andrade almost got handcuffed, but did a great job of recovering to make the out to retire the side. Well, Northeast Texas plays 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, rather the top of the 6th inning. 4 runs for Northeast Texas. 4 hits for the Eagles. No Kilgore College errors, and the Eagles do strand 1 on base. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors, 1 left. So we have played 5.5 innings at 7-2, Northeast Texas over Kilgore. We'll come back after this break. It is Kilgore College Softball brought to you today on the KC Sports Network. Stay with us for more Kilgore College athletics as the Rangers try to solve the puzzle, try to get back into this ball game.
All across East Texas and around the world, former Kilgore College students are working hard for their best life. They're building a brighter future. They're moving in the right direction. They're in powerful positions. And they're superheroes protecting and serving. If you're ready to work for your best life, put Kilgore College to work for you.
This is what we've been waiting for. At the dawn of forevermore, we can stand on this ground so
Whether it is in our drive-thru or in our dining room, it'll always be our pleasure at Chick-fil-A to give you the best dining experience possible.
While we were away, the inning started with Lauren Minitre coming up. Katrina Morphus coming up and getting a leadoff single for Kilgore here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Still in the circle, Shelby Seabury for Northeast Texas with a 5-run lead at 7-2. All-speed pitch to Mary Newville. Gets in there. 1-1 is the count now to Newville. So Katrina Morphus leads off with a single for Kilgore. And now Mary Newville, the left fielder, up to bat. Hitting from the left-hand side with a 1-1 count. And that pitch will miss high, so the count goes to 2-1. Again, Northeast Texas 7 and Kilgore College 2 in the bottom of the 6th inning from Kilgore. So Morphus with her second hit of the ball game. She's 2 for 3. Newville with a walk and a strikeout. She has scored a run, however. Count is now 2-2 to Mary Newville. So here's the wind and the delivery by Seabury, missing high. Count goes full to 3-2. So nobody out for the Rangers. Opportunity here for Kilgore. Down by 5 runs, and the Rangers need to put something together now. Here's the delivery on the way. That's going to be a line drive caught by Fincannon. Over to first. Is it in time for the double play? It is. Morphus got cut off the base. Newville with a line drive that was caught by Fincannon. And then Fincannon threw it back over to first to get Morphus on the 5-3 putout to turn the double play. 2 down now for the Rangers, and up to bat is Alyssa Baxter, the shortstop. Nice job by Fincannon to Metter. And that first pitch by Seabury comes in for a strike. Wow, so the Rangers did have a leadoff single, and that's been erased with a double play on the line drive. Here's the next pitch. Check swing by Baxter. Appeal. And then it is denied. Baxter did not go around. And that'll make the count even at a ball and a strike with 2 outs. That's going to be a shot by Baxter. It'll go into center field. And the ball is grabbed by Camacho. And that will retire the side. So Baxter flies out to center field to end the inning. The Rangers only send 3 batters to the plate. Got a single and then a line drive double play to wipe it out. No runs for Kilgore. 1 hit. No errors. Nobody left on base. 6 innings in the books from the ballpark at Casey Commons. 7-2, Northeast Texas with a lead over the Kilgore Rangers. We'll come back after this break. This is Kilgore College Softball, and it's brought to you this afternoon on the KC Sports Network. We ask you to stay with us. More Ranger Athletics on the way. All right, heading to the top of the 7th inning, and the Rangers are in trouble, down by a score of 7-2. 4 big runs plated in the 6th inning by Northeast Texas. So leading it off for Northeast Texas, the young lady who made the put out to end the bottom of the 6th, Sara Cruz Camacho. First pitch is going to miss. 1-0 the count to Camacho. It's Camacho, and then Preciolin Barasa and Pardue. Those are the batters due up for Northeast Texas. Jasmine Gallegos is in the circle for Kilgore now. That's going to be a shot gloved by Baxter at short over to first. And Minitry makes the grab, and that is out number 1. Rather, excuse me, that is Morphus at first base. So Cruz Camacho goes down 6-3. Now up to bat is going to be Preciolin Barasa. And Barasa is 1 for 3 today. A single in the 2nd, and then a strikeout and a couple of groundouts. Here's the pitch on the way by Gallegos. And that will miss high. No, they're going to call that a strike. Got in there. 0-1 the count. Here's the next delivery. That's going to be a shot foul third base side. 0-2 the count quickly to Preciolin Barasa with Pardue on deck. Pardue's having a ball game. She is 3 for 4 today for Northeast Texas and has scored 3 runs. Gallegos taking a look at the wristband and then ended up calling time for a second. Now one more look here, taking a look over at the dugout, back to the wristband, and here we go. 0-2 the count. The pitch, missing high, makes the count 1-2 with 1 down. So Gallegos for Kilgore College is a sophomore out of Jacksonville. That one is off of Gallegos, picked up by Baxter to first, and that won't be in time. Barasa ends up beating it. That'll be an infield single for Barasa. And you can hear the Kilgore fans not happy with that particular call. But it's still going to go against the Rangers. We're going to have a courtesy runner. Coach Denise Tyson comes out. And so Pardue, that's Preciolin Barasa rather, is going out. Who's coming in to run for her? That's going to be Cedes Martinez. Well, Martinez is the second baseman, is also a flex player. Pardue's up to bat now. And the first pitch will be a strike. 0-1 the count. As Pardue tried to move the runner up, but couldn't do it. Here's the next pitch by Gallegos. And that'll catch the upper part of the plate. Well, actually, up in the zone, make it 0-2 the count with one down. So 0-2 the count to Pardue. Martinez now on at first, replacing Barraza. Here's the pitch. Missing outside. That makes the count 1-2. Here's the delivery, and that one's going to be bounced foul off the plate and behind the catcher. So 1-2. Here's the delivery by Gallegos. There's going to be a bouncer. That'll catch the runner on the base path. And Martinez is out. So Martinez was hit by the ball running the base path, so she is called out. That is 2 down. But Pardue will end up going on over to first base. So Pardue has reached base 4 times today. That pitch comes in as a strike to Lillian Barraza. On 1 the count to her. Here's the next delivery on the way by Gallegos. Barraza will pop this one up. It stays in the infield. The grab made by Andrade. And that will retire the side. So the Rangers get out of the 7th inning without giving up a run. No runs for Northeast Texas. 1 hit for the Eagles. No Kilgore errors. And 1 runner left on base. So we have played 6.5 innings from Kilgore. And the Rangers trail this one 7-2. So Kilgore will need 5 to tie and 6 to win here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Could be a tough road to home, as Shelby Seabury has pitched wonderfully for Northeast Texas today. We will take this break on the Kilgore College Sports Network, and then we'll come back and see what happens here in the bottom of the 7th inning after this on the KC Sports Network.
This is what we've been waiting for. At the dawn of forevermore, we can stand on these grounds so
Whether it is in our drive-thru or in our dining room, it'll always be our pleasure at Chick-fil-A to give you the best dining experience possible.
And here we go, getting ready for the bottom of the 7th inning. Kilgore College down to Northeast Texas 7-2. It's game 1 of a doubleheader here at the ballpark at KC Commons. And leading it off for Kilgore College, it will be Takara Anderson, the third baseman. You have Anderson, Minitree, and Barr. Anderson, first pitch swing and pops this one up. Martinez will settle in and make the grab for the first out at second base. So Anderson with a pop to second for out number 1. So Minitree will come to bat. Minitree is 1 for 2 today. She has an RBI single and also lined out. Anderson had reached base twice on a walk and a single with an RBI in the game. First pitch will miss. 1-0 is the count to Minitree, and then Barr is up to bat. So Seabury with a 2-3 record coming in. If the stats from Region 14 are correct, there's a strike to make it 1-1. We'll try to even up her record here. Bingham, on the other hand, for Kilgore, is on the hook for the loss. There's a pop-up. That's out number 2 as Minitry popped out to the pitcher. So 2 up, 2 down. Rangers' last hope lies in Lexi Barr, the right fielder. Barr is 1 for 2 today with a single and a pop-out to third. The Barr hits from the right-hand side for the Rangers. Here's Seabury's first pitch, and that's going to be in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. 2 down. Seabury has given up 5 hits today. Here's the next pitch, missing high, and that'll even up the count at 1-1. Here's the delivery by Seabury, swing and a miss. And it's now 1-2, so the Rangers down to their last strike here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And that one catches Barr as she tried to turn and caught her in the back. So Barr, hit by pitch, moves on over to first base with 2 down. Rangers had 2 outs in the 4th inning, and then 2 successive walks scored for the Rangers in that 4th inning. 2 walks, 2 singles. The Rangers got 2 runs. So now Coach Tyson comes out for Northeast Texas to talk with Seabury, try to settle her down to get the last out of the ball game. All right. Seabury stays in after the visit with Coach Tyson. And the Rangers bring up to bat. Try to see who this is. Lexi Pettis is a sophomore from League City, Texas, who comes on as a pinch hitter for Salas. And first pitch comes in for a strike. So Lexi Pettis. There's a bouncer, and it is gloved at first base for the out. What a play by the NTCC first baseman, Metter, who dove to the ground to grab the ball and rolled over the bag with the ball, and that makes it a put out, and that's the end of the ball game. As Pettis grounds out unassisted to first, and that retires the side. Kilgore in the bottom of the 7th inning, no runs, no hits for the Rangers, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. So game number 1 of the doubleheaders in the books. The final score, Northeast Texas Community College 7 and Kilgore College 2. We will go ahead and take this break on the Kilgore College Sports Network. The Eagles with a win, 7-2 over the Rangers. We'll come back with our post-game wrap-up after this on the KC Sports Network.
Passing the competition by leaps and bounds. The team of world-class specialists at Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute are experts in caring for bones, joints, and muscles. In addition to treatment, they also provide special programs designed to keep you in optimal shape and improve athletic performance. So whether you're a student athlete or a weekend warrior, they'll keep you at the top of your game. Christus Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, taking orthopedic care a step further.
And welcome back to Kilgore College Softball on the KC Sports Network as we are in our Rangers softball postgame report. Final score in game number 1 of our doubleheader from Kilgore's Ballpark at KC Commons. 7-2, Northeast Texas Community College with a win over the Kilgore College Rangers. So we do have the final totals for you to wrap things up here in the ballgame today for Northeast Texas. 7 runs on 13 hits, no errors, and 11 runners left on base. For the Kilgore College Rangers, 2 runs on 5 hits with 2 errors and 5 runners left on base. So the winning pitcher for Northeast Texas is Shelby Seabury. She improves their record now to 3 wins and 3 losses. The losing pitcher for Kilgore is Casey Bingham. Bingham now falls to a record of 1 and 6. For Sprayberry to win the ball game, she gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, pitched the complete game, all 7 innings, ended up walking 2 and striking out 3, had 1 hit batter. So a nice job. The only inning she was roughed up was the 4th inning when she gave up the 2 runs for Northeast Texas. For the Kilgore College Rangers, Bingham started the game, pitched 4 innings, gave up 3 runs on 7 hits, struck out 4 and walked 2. And then Jordan Andrade took over, pitched an inning and 2/3, gave up 5 hits and 4 runs, walking 2, striking out 1. And then Jasmine Gallegos came on to pitch the last 1 1/3 inning. And Jasmine able to just give up 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Did hit a batter. Well, actually, I take that back. She didn't hit a batter. That hitter was hit by a batted ball. So that recorded an out. So again, for Gallegos, no runs, giving up 1 hit, no walks, no strikeouts, but Gallegos doing a solid job of relief for Kilgore College. So the Rangers end up losing the game 7-2 to Northeast Texas Community College. So with this final score, we can also give you an update now on the records for these 2 teams, as the Kilgore College Rangers were 2 games behind the number 4 spot trying to get into the Region 14 tournament. And of course, the loss doesn't help them any as games are winding down in Region 14. There certainly is still hope for the Rangers to get back into or get into the tournament, but right now Kilgore falls to 5-10 in conference play and is now 13-34 overall. Northeast Texas, who sits in 7th place in the North Zone, is now 3-12 in conference play and 11-34 overall. Again, the Rangers needed to secure as many wins. Right now, they're on the outside looking in to the regional tournament chase with the loss again today. So Kilgore College ends up losing game 1 of the doubleheader to Northeast Texas by a score of 7-2. Really quickly for Northeast Texas Community College, hitting-wise, Cressy Lynn Barasa ended up with a couple of hits. She was 2 for 5 in the game today. Pardue ended up with 3 hits in the contest today. She reached base 4 times. A batted ball hit a runner on the base path in the 7th inning, and that was an out. But Maya Pardue otherwise ended up with 3 hits, all singles. So she ended up with a total of 3 for 5 today. Lillian Barasa ended up with 3 hits. She was 3 for 5, and she also had an RBI and make it 2 RBIs and a run scored. Pardue, by the way, scored all 3 times that she reached base on her singles. Also had a stolen base in there. Alyssa Maynor for Northeast Texas ended up 3 for 4 today. 2 singles, a double, and had 3 RBIs and a stolen base in the contest. Nice job by Alyssa Maynor. Kirsten Fincannon for Northeast Texas ended up reaching on an error in the 2nd inning, making the 3rd inning. Otherwise, she was 0 for 3 in the contest. Conley Zachary walked twice and had 2 stolen bases and scored a run in the ball game. Seabury, the pitcher, had a 2 RBI double in the 6th inning and drew 2 walks. Also had a pop-out. Metter, who came on for Strange as a designated hitter, or as a pinch hitter rather, ended up with a single in the contest. And then Strange ended up striking out twice. Cruz Camacho with a single. Actually, she reached on an error, rather. Also reached on a fielder's choice, had 2 stolen bases. Otherwise, ended up being 0 for 2 today for Northeast Texas. And for the Kilgore College Rangers, hitting-wise, Stephanie Salas ended up going 0 for 4 today. Julissa Ramirez was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Jordan Andrade ended up 0 for 3 today. Katrina Morphus was 2 for 3 with a couple of singles. Mary Newville ended up 0 for 2 today, but did walk and score a run back in the 4th inning. Baxter also walked and scored a run in the 4th inning, otherwise had a sacrifice and then also a flyout. Dakara Anderson had a single and an RBI back in the 4th inning, otherwise a walk and a pop-out. Lauren Minitry with an RBI single in the 4th inning as well, and then was 1 for 3 otherwise, ended up with a line-out and a pop-out. Lexi Barr had a single, also reached on a hit by pitch. Lexi Barr officially 1 for 2, as she ended up popping out in the 4th inning as well. And so those are the hitting statistics for today's ball game for both of the teams. So that's going to wrap up our broadcast of game number 1 of our doubleheader. We expect game number 2 to start in about 20 minutes or so. Final score in game number 1 of our doubleheader from the ballpark at Casey Commons are getting the field ready. So make sure you check back in to join us for game number 2 of the doubleheader as we end the stream in a moment with the final score of game number 1, Northeast Texas Community College 7 and the Kilgore College Rangers 2. For all of us at the Kilgore College Sports Network, this is Manny Almanza saying so long from the ballpark at Casey Commons. For now, game number 2 will be coming up on the Kilgore College Sports Network.